Here to teach, a consaba for the master. To diverse in the plenty was he, teacher of the many his task be, known to some, introduced to us all, the grand man of our master class. Became the sturdy study to prevent chaos, with written to the vocal so needed towards our final freeing as human beings, written by the poet Anthony, February 5th, 2002. And that poet would be me, T from the Pattersons, taking the train to Tibet. We are in a time period, extraordinary time period, and we lost an extraordinary man. When I say lost, I don't mean, he went to another realm. Hopefully in that realm, he's still with us, guiding us. His words have been recorded. His books are available. And we're going to talk a bit about Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., born 6th of October, 1929. There's something about that time period, say from 1920 to 1935. So many extraordinary people were exist in that time, and still some still are with us. You know. So, Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. I first before I start, let me just say, this is I guess it's officially a Grand Rising report, and Grand Rising report comes from things that I've noticed in the last, say, 24 hours or so. Right? And I woke up, right now it's 10 after 6 in the morning in the Tamanadu state of southern India, which means that we're in the blue light. It's called blue light. A half hour before sunrise is blue light. And sunrise in this part of the world is at 6:34, I think. Yeah, 6:34. So anyway, by the way, shout out to Blue Light Brigade. You know who you are. So we're going to take some time here with our Grand Rising report to talk about Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. And I first came across him, I knew about Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. way back in the 80s. I just knew about him because he was somewhere around talking. Francis Cress Wilson was speaking at, maybe that's where I first heard about him. Francis Cress Wilson was speaking at the First World Alliance. Was there for that. And I think she may have brought up Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. But I really didn't pay attention, to him at that particular point. That's the 80s. But when I started in about 20 years ago, I don't know, less than 20 years ago, about, say, 15 years ago, when I was in Alice in Africa, I knew about him before that. So I knew the books and stuff like that, but I never had anything. Anyway, when I was in Alice, I was in Africa. I went and visited. I would come back to the States. Maybe I try to avoid the States as much as possible. Maybe every 2 years or so. Right? I come up, and when I come up, I go to my sister's house in Virginia. But a lot of times in New York, I would stay with my fraternity brother, which is Dr. James Conyers. And Dr. James Conyers lives in Harlem, and he used to be the head of the Africana Studies Department at Keene University. I won't tell you what happened with that. But so I stayed at his place. Got a lot of books. A lot. He's academic. Come on, academic. He's got a lot of books. And he had the original copy of Mr. Neely Fuller's Compensatory Concept book. It's the big format, big format, that kind of thing. I said, blah, 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 blah. He said, here, take it. He's my fraternity brother. We just kill each other. We got so many books, whatever. So I took the book. And when I came back to Africa, I was living in Alice. Alice is where Fort Hare is, and it's noted for there's a press during the bad old days of apartheid called Lovedale Press. It's named after Lovedale College, which is the precursor to Fort Hare University as a whole. Taban Mbeki went to Lovedale College, let's put it that way. You know, it's the second president under so-called freed South Africa. But Lovedale Press, when it is noted because they printed a lot of the literature that the ANC used back in the day of the bad old days of apartheid. I guess because Z.K. Matthews is in that area, was at Fort Hare. I mean, a lot of noteworthy people of the ANC went through there. I mean, even Robert Sapuke went through University of Fort Hare. What's the guy with all the Jews? Bishop Tutu, Madiba went. Funny story. Yes, Nelson Mandela was there, but he got kicked out because there was some sort of thing with food. I don't know. It was some sort of thing. Like I said, Robert Sabuga, Robert Mugabe, a lot of people went through. Now remember, it might sound really noteworthy, but remember, bad old days of apartheid, what they did was a lot of people had to, that was the only university, I mean, Lovedale, and that was the only university, well, universities gives out doctorates, I guess. But it's the only university that the blacks and natives, as well as at the time, even the coloreds could go to. So you had a lot of people going there that they were forced to go there, let's put it that way. And later on, they opened up, I guess, Wits or someplace else, and the colors started to go there. And, and even what's his name, Ralph Bunche. Ralph Bunche that basically got Israel on the map. If it wasn't for Ralph Bunche, it would be no Israel. I'm just letting you know, right? He went to University of Cape Town. I taught there for a bit. So he went, but he traveled all through South Africa and, of course, went through there, Anyway, the point is, when I got there, when I brought the book back with me too, because I was hanging out. I was going to doing some graduate studies at the University of Fort Hare at the time, and so I took the book to Lovedale Press, still exists, and I said, "Hey, I need to bind this up." So they bound it up. I have it. Well, right now it's in DeBrother. I have it. It's down there. And even at the end, I had him sign it. I had put the Lovedale Press stamp in it. The guy signed it, stuff like that. So I have that copy of the book. And at the same time I was getting his. He did a revised new edition. So it's a revised new edition. I think that came in 2016 or something like that. But it was such a demand for the original text, which is interesting. If you look at the original text, it's more. But let me put it this way: when a musician starts, you like him in the beginning because they funky. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you look at Prince doing Little Red Corvette when it was created versus him doing it later on. You see, there's a rawness, there's a authenticity to it. So that original book is all that, and people started demanding the original. They said, "Oh, the revised is cool. Hey, Mr. Fuller, Mr. Neely Fuller, it's cool, but can we have the original thing?" So he had to republish it with the original cover in a smaller format. And then he also, because when he did the revised edition, he did also what's called a word guide. Now there's a word guide in the back of the original book, right? That has some words in there, right? So he just basically, when he did the revising to the thing, and then you had to put you understand. So in fact, down there, Mr. Claudia is a guy. What's my I don't know. I can't explain what Mr. Claudia to you. But occasionally we have been reading Mr. Neely Fuller's book, taking sections and reading it into the camera like this. We've been transmitting. Let's put it that way. And what I would do is I would read it in English, and he would translate it closer because that's his mother tongue, right? So there exists on my YouTube channel him and me reading sections of Mr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s book, and so that's what it is. When I go back, occasionally we go back and we do it some more. So we'll keep on doing it, I suppose. So the word will get out there, which in fact, let me veer off as usual and say that this is the point when a great person has passed. What do? I mean, I say that. Where's my book? I I wrote this poem that you just heard when I heard it this morning. I thought it was, usually when I write a poem, I'm really more of a wordsmith than a poet, but that's neither here nor there. But usually I write the poem and then you know, I revise it. It's like 2 or 3 drafts. You know, I figured, well, I'm gonna take a few days with this. I figured it won't be till Friday. But this, I mean, it just flowed out. Now, I might still look and make some, I doubt it though. Whatever, maybe a word here, word, I don't know what's gonna happen. So the Quintzaba is this is the original thing. I wrote it on, and that's a revised edition. It'll go into this book here. I already put it on my notes in my phone, you know, so it exists. And in fact, I found it it's actually up on this Instagram page, my Instagram page, where I read the draft. Well, whatever. But this book you can't see right now. This says Poem Songs, Fine Arts et al. Right. When a great person has passed, when a great person is born, you know, the cultural warriors, as it were, you know, we have an obligation. Poems should be done. Songs should be made. Dances should be created. Fine arts, paintings, whatever, should be done. Expression needs music needs to be played. Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. is an important person. This means that every single, I know there are going to be people, preachers or whatever, they're going to be speaking words, blah, blah. No, but how does a musician, how does an artist express themselves? Then you're supposed to be doing that right now, because a great man has, one of the greatest people that ever walked the planet has passed. He lived to be 95. Come on, man. You understand what I'm saying? So that should be happening. I mean, I'm gonna be in New York when in the area up in the northern hemisphere. Well, right. I'm gonna be there when I think May, June. Yeah, May, June. I want to be able to. I want a dance troupe to see to create a Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. piece based on his works to produce justice. His thing was to produce justice. Like the cat that does the cartoons that says he uses his voice for cartoons. Like he should be going full blast. And, let me say this too, just in case some rappers, hip hoppers, whatever you all being said, because you know you got this thing, or you all got you got to abide by the code, by the sensibilities of Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. That means that if you create a rap, if you will, if you create a song, there ain't no cursing. There ain't no cursing, including the word nigga. Because why? Because we know that when we've been listening to Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. for at least the last 10 years, he's been transmitting. First, before Talktainment, there was something else that he did, then Talktainment, and then finally it's still produced it. Then it's finally the last one was hanging out with Mr. Bobby. Well, he was, anyway, Mr. Bobby joined him in Talktainment. But the point is, right, you never heard him curse on the air. He didn't curse in his life. Which means that you need to, this is an opportunity for you hip hoppers, for you rappers, for you people, for you songsters, for you poets, to abide by the Mr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s personal code. So if you create a piece in his name, you better become correct. At least read his stuff. Understand, say, hey, he never said this, he never said that. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to create something, don't befoul his name is memory. This is an instruction. I usually don't tell people don't. But I'm telling you, don't do it. Because if I see it, I'm coming, I'm done. You say, I'm coming, yeah. All right, man. You put that stuff up in the comments when you perform it. I'll be commenting every other day. Tick, 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 tick. See, one of the things I do, I do these things right now. I mean, I talk into the camera, but you know, that's because I'm rambling and stuff like that. But I'm actually a writer. You know, I do audio dramas. You know, so sometimes in people's comments, I write detailed, no cursing, whatever, that really let's call it profound, not profane things in comments. People gotta say, oh, I don't just, you know. Anyway, that's not the point. That's about me. So that's what I'm saying. This is an opportunity for you to raise up Not only he wouldn't even want that. Not only Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., you raise up his point of view. That's what's supposed to happen. That's how you honor him. And if you say you're a singer or something, you put out an album, jazz, or put out an album, you can develop one cut to Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. and his principle of producing justice, addressing racism, which he calls white supremacy, producing justice to make sure that the justice. How do you define justice? The guarantee that no one is mistreated, and those people who are mistreated, they get the most constructive help possible. So anyway, I'm gonna do a thing right now. I'm gonna actually go back and go line by line. When I do consabas, it's a form that was invented, progenited, whatever, by Eugene B. Redmond out there in East St. Louis. East St. Louis. I know Eugene. Hung out with Eugene. He hung out on Noma Radio. And in fact, several times I sent him a consaba and he corrected it. So there you go, right? I'm going to break this down because I think it's important for me to break this down. So let me slide it back over to the other side here. See what there, and we're going to go line by line. Then we'll see what happens next. Okay. So let me move this over. Come on, get back down there so you can see it. Okay, let's go line by line. What's going on here? Oh, hey, go back. Okay. Oh, wrong way. Okay, I want you. Oh, sorry, man. Playing with my gimbal. Okay, let's go line by line if we can. Here we go. Let me use my pen here. I can move this out the way so I can go line by line. Okay. First of all, you remember you have the audio of the language and the I guess the written thing. Well, I say here to teach, here meaning this on this planet here, but the here I use is H-E-A-R, not H-E-R-E. So you have to hear to teach. So he used his voice also to teach. If you hear him, he teaches. In fact, his teaching voice is even more profound than his written voice. Because he has that, for lack of a better term, that old-time wisdom, that old way of talking, And it's like amazing. You have to hear him. You have to hear him. Shout out to hey Delphine, shout out to the guys that do the cartoon because he used his voice and then whatever. Okay, so here to teach. It's a consaba. Consaba is a consaba for the masters. It's dedicated to the master being Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. Now, consaba is a 7-line poem. There's 7 words to a line, and each word is 7 letters or less. Okay, that's the rules that outlined by Eugene B. Redmond. Okay, so the only the exception is if you have a proper noun, you can use a proper noun. Okay, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 lines. In other words, it's a 49 word poem. Okay, first line. Too diverse in the plenty was he. Too diverse in the plenty was he. Now the 2 is T-O. She said too diverse. Now, diverse, how I got that is one of the biggest thing I got from Mr. Neely Fuller, not the biggest thing, but when people ask me my religion, I would say, well, I'm a deist. Well, most people don't know what a deist is, And at some particular point, somebody asked Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. what he was. He said he was an eclectic pluralist. I said, oh, that sounds good. It's the same. I say, so when people ask me now, what am I? I say I'm an eclectic pluralist. And what does that mean? It means that basically you examine all religions and you come up with it. You say, okay, you respect all religions, you examine them all, they all have merit, but you're not really joined to any particular religion. That works with me too, because in the Yoruba pantheon, I can't join any church, any mosque, any temple, anything like that. I can't be a part of anything, but I can visit a mosque. I visit the holy city of Tuba. I can visit a church. down in Virginia, they have the only black basilica down there. When they consecrated, I was there for that. Anyway, so the point is, so eclectic pluralism is basically eclectic, meaning diverse, and pluralist meaning plenty. So rather than use the big words and having more than 7 letters, you see, to diverse in the plenty was he. Okay, teacher of the many, his task be. So he taught many people through his writing, through his lecture. He would be invited to speak. So he's a teacher. And by the way, in academia, a professor is actually, when you say professor, you're actually saying teacher. Now, a doctor is something else. A doctor, you bestowed that upon from a university, and your colleagues basically give you that title. But anybody that teaches at the university basically is a professor, but we won't get into that right now. Known to some, introed to us all. Now, this is interesting, because known to some, intro to us all. This is like a riff or a thing on Mr. Bobby, his last his last when he's co-host, if you want, he would always start the program. At some particular point, he said, "Let me introduce to some and whatever he said, introduce to some and whatever he said. He says this thing. Listen to the things. You see what it is. I'd rather him say it. So that's like an ode to him for his work with Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. The grand man of our master class. Now, this is interesting. The grand man. Now, you might look at that and say that the master class, well, we're is it a master class of people? Like you have different. You understand? Like you have middle class, whatever. Is it a master, or is the grand man of a class of people that are studying their masters? There's a lot of meanings for that. You can figure out what it is. Became the sturdy, steady to prevent chaos. Now, here we go. I love this line. Well, sturdy is one of those old-timey words. That's one of those Neely Fuller era words, right? And steady to prevent chaos. His whole thing was that one of his things was that you want to prevent confusion. You see, so that chaos is a very important. Did I spell it chaos right? I guess I did. Right? We've written to the vocal so needed. See, he wrote, right, but he started writing this in his tome, his master tome, in like 1957. He said he was in the hills there, in the mountains there, in Korea, at a radar station. And we had time to think, and he started thinking. And he's going like, "Hey, what's this racism thing?" Because it was the 4 little girls got, So he started to write down notes and little pieces of paper, and he just kept on going. Down basically in the early '60s, he would go to lectures and hear people, blah blah blah. And if somewhere he met Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, and she was interested in what he was doing, and then he had all his notes all over the place. And there's something, I forgot the brother's name. Another doctor, he volunteered to type the stuff up and sort of organize it. And so that's how the book came about, published out in 1984. So I guess it was the 70s, really, the late 70s, they started, this journey. So written to the vocal so needed, okay. Towards our final freeing as human beings. Towards our final freeing. I have this thing. Let me turn this back around. That's the poem right there. That's the poet right there, name right there. I have this thing, and I call it, what I call it, our final liberation towards final liberation. Look, I've been writing lately. I don't remember what I'd be writing. So that has to do with our final freeing is our in other words, ultimate liberation. That's the term I've been using. Ultimate liberation. So all that stuff, that's what the poem is. So rather than me keep on going, let me let you go. This has been a Monday. It's not even time Monday tea tribe, but it's a posting I do in the mornings, and I post in the evenings. I'll see what happens. It's today is a what? It's a Wednesday. This is an International Day. Now that would be interesting. Hey, suppose my Commander Ibrahim is my commander in chief, Commander Ibrahim. Suppose this is when my flights of fantasy started, my brain starts. This when I woke up this morning, when I lay on my back. Anyway, I went back to I started envisioning things. Just think, if Commander Ibrahim wrote a little note of condolence to when they have the funeral and sent it. Come on, think about that. Oh, that would be so wonderful. Hey, if anybody knows the Mali Kota Mali Kota, the Nigeria guy, the Sahel 3. Let them know that Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. passed, and they should write a little. They should write something, send a little condolence message. Okay. All right. Oh, there we go. Sunrise is here. Okay, so got to go.